Good morning, kids. In episode 33, I want to switch gears and talk about copywriting. We're going to discuss the 9 major types of copywriting to help you decide where you want to focus your talents and abilities. This way, you can start your copywriting career on the right foot. So stick around. This is going to be interesting. Copywriting isn't a new thing, but there are a lot of you out there that haven't heard of it or don't quite understand what it is. Let's be honest, there are copywriters out there that can't even define what they do. When someone asks, "What do you do for a living?" some of you will find it difficult to answer anything beyond, "I'm a copywriter," or "I get paid to write words." Today, we're going to cover the 9 major types of copywriting. Hopefully, this will help you not only be able to decide which direction you want to pursue, but will help you also define the jobs to others. Now, before we get started, you need to understand that copywriting is an umbrella term. It covers a myriad of different job sets and skills. While anyone under the umbrella can say they are a copywriter, the truth of the matter is that it is more like a professional sports team. Comparing it to the NFL, for example, copywriting is the NFL. The subtypes of the copywriter are the teams, and your specific niche or ability is like a position player. So, while Adam Thielen can say he works for the NFL, technically, he is a wide receiver who works under the Minnesota Vikings, who is under the NFL umbrella. Similarly, you might be able to say you are a micro-copy creator for websites, which falls under the content creation group of the copywriting umbrella. Make sense? Let's move on then. Since there are so many different subgroups, niches, and specialties of a copywriter, we won't be able to cover them all here. Literally, we could talk back and forth non-stop for days just on the subgroups of copywriting. However, I have made it easier for you. This podcast will cover the 9 types of copywriter that are the most well-known, lucrative, and easiest to get into, even with no degrees or experience. The first group I will cover is the ghostwriter. Ghostwriters are a special breed of copywriters because they can write pretty much anything. You just never know about it. A ghostwriter is someone who writes content for someone else, and after payment, they no longer own the rights to the content and cannot claim it as their own. Usually, this is the first step of a new copywriting career, and there are many who stay here and do very well. A ghostwriter is responsible for most of the blogs, articles, and web pages that you see every day. If you have ever looked for a blog post about the best of something or a product review, the chances are high that it was written by a ghostwriter. Ghostwriters get 0 credit for their work, but as such, they can charge more for their services. Ghostwriters write ebooks, novels, white papers, blog posts, and articles. Usually, these copywriters will charge by the word, and the best of the best can get as much as a full $1 or $2 per word. If you hone your skills as a ghostwriter, you can easily make $400 to $600 for a blog post. That's about 2,000 words long. Ghostwriting a novel can fetch $10,000 or more, too. The best part is that as a ghostwriter, you have the easiest job to explain. You can tell people that you're a ghostwriter, and most will understand. You can also say you write novels or articles, or simply, I create the content you see online every day, and people pay me to put it there. The second group follows closely on the heels of the ghostwriter, and that's the blog writer. The primary difference here is that the blog writer has a byline. These are seen on blogs and articles around the web where you go through the whole post, and at the bottom is a little picture of the author with a short bio and a link to their site or Twitter page. Blog writers maintain the rights to their content after it is published, and through the byline they get new customers, notoriety, and sometimes special offers. When I was a blog writer, for example, I would get emails from businesses asking me to write for them, and some even send free products to use and review. Because the blog writer keeps their name on their work, they generally don't get to charge as much. However, it is a lucrative gig if you do well enough. Blog writers don't just write blogs either. They create all manner of words through articles, web pages, of course blogs, and other content. Like the ghostwriter, a blog writer gig is easy to get into, can pay pretty well, and is easy to explain to others. Both the ghostwriter and the blog writer fall under a larger umbrella called the journalist copywriter. And as the name implies, the journalist copywriter creates news article style content. And this can be an article or a blog post, and it can even be a newspaper or a magazine spread. What's interesting to think about is that every blog writer is a journalist copywriter, but not every journalist copywriter is a blog writer. Journalist copywriters do a lot of content work, and as you can imagine, the pay scale here varies greatly, which is why it's usually broken down even further to other subgroups. A journalist copywriter may or may not have a byline, but they are often the ones found writing for the Huffington Post, Time Magazine, and your local newspaper. Freelance writers can get gigs for big publications if their writing is on point and they have a firm grasp of the topic needed. The big difference here is that journalist copywriters generally charge by the project, not by the word count. You also get to put where you have written on your website, like a bragging banner of accomplishments. The fourth group of copywriters are known as content creators. Again, this is a broad category or subgroup that can envelop different copywriters from other groups. Basically, a content creator is a copywriter that takes a blank page and fills it with words. This page can be a blog post, a website page, or even a billboard. Content creators are more likely to be working on filling niche sites with the review and comparison articles, though they are quite often fond of heading up the building of brand new websites. Depending on your specialty, you can come up with brand new web pages or add to existing blogs. When a copywriter is asked, or decides for themselves, to niche down to a specific topic or identity, a content creator is born. And for those of you that want to write articles for home automation, for example, are content creators. You write only one type of article or blog or web page copy dealing with a particular subset of content. Of course, based on your niche or specialty, as well as the type of content you provide, your fees and prices will vary greatly. However, you get to tell people exactly what you write and who you write it for. Social media copywriters tend to stick to one thing, and they do it well. Writing posts for Facebook pages, groups, or running ads on social media takes a certain knowledge, and you must have visible results. The social media copywriter is hard to come by, and they get to charge high rates for their specialized services. In the age where social media is king, finding a social media manager or a content creator for your social media page is often met with high prices. However, you get monthly, if not weekly, results. So for a social media copywriter to keep their job, they have to perform at a constant high level. It helps to be a master at the most popular social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. However, if you can provide an unmatched service through a single social outlet, you can bring in quite a bit of cash. Another specialized group of copywriters are the SEO copywriters. These are the guys and gals that run through existing copy and spruce it up to make it better for SEO rankings. Generally, though not always, an SEO copywriter is brought into a blog or article-driven website that isn't ranking well. They will be tasked with performing SEO upgrades to the blog posts and articles already on the site to make them rank for specific keywords. With affiliate marketing and niche sites becoming more and more popular, an SEO copywriter is at the point where they can set their own rates and get them. As long as the client can see an improvement in rankings, click-through, and sales, the SEO copywriter is seen as a god. The job isn't very flattering. You won't have your name all over the place. But if you are good at what you do, you can make quite a living with SEO right now. What about the white paper writer? These copywriters are the unsung heroes of the corporate world. Because a white paper is such a specialized field, it takes a certain type of copywriter to perform well. As such, the money draws in a lot of people trying to become a white paper copywriter, but the actual job turns a lot more of them away. A white paper is a reusable, free resource that once you have written one, it can stick around for years. Because of this fact, repeat business isn't generally warranted. However, you may be asked to come back in a year and to provide updates to the white paper you already wrote. Another benefit to being a white paper copywriter is the money. A small 10-page white paper can bring the writer between $3,000 and $10,000. And if you think about it, those 10 pages only have a total of about 2,500 words, sometimes less. White paper writing is an exact science, though. If you don't know what you're doing or turn in something less than stellar, you can quickly be fired, and most of the time without payment for the work you've already done. Next, we have the micro-copy copywriter. These guys are amazing at their craft, and they know human psychology better than anyone. If you have a sales page and you haven't hired a micro-copy copywriter, you are missing sales. It's that simple. What is a micro-copywriter? These are the copywriters that make your call to action stand out. They change the font from Georgia to Helvetica because they know it increases the likelihood of someone clicking on the button by 12%. These are the copy geniuses that make your headers blue and your clickable button say sign me up instead of sign up now. A micro-copy copywriter fixes copy so that it attracts attention and goes subliminal to get visitors to click to read more, click to buy now, or simply to stay on the page longer. Because as we all know, the longer they listen, the sweeter the pitch. Finally, we have the advertising copywriter. And if you know anything about copywriting at all, you know of these highly sought-after copywriters. The advertising world is full of copywriters, and the best of the best make a killing doing what they do. If you've ever seen the TV show Mad Men, then you know about advertising copywriters. They bring products and brands to the public. They make the public want the product, love the product, and, from my side anyway, pride themselves on making the brand memorable. If you've ever heard the names David Ogilvy, Eugene Schwartz, John Kappels, or Joseph Sugarman, then you have heard of the advertising gurus, the godfathers of advertising. Ever since there have been brands and products to sell, there have been advertising copywriters making the products stand out, helping brands recover, and making unknown people famous. Copywriting agencies are where you will find these gurus of the written word. However, there is a place for freelance advertising copywriters. You may get slush work from an overworked agency, or you may fit the bill for a smaller brand that can't afford the hundreds of thousands it takes to hire the elite. I moved to advertising copywriting about a year ago, and of the 9 types of copywriting listed here, I've done them all. There are other types that I haven't covered that I have also been a part of. I didn't list them for a good reason. However, advertising copywriting, for me, is the best. And instead of telling people I am an advertising copywriter and getting those weird looks, I get to tell people that I bring new products to market. I make brands become name brands, and I connect the buyer with the seller using only my words. It's a good feeling, and I'm sure that as a copywriter, you will get your moments of good feelings too. Perhaps this list of the 9 types of copywriters has helped you identify what you want to focus on in your career. If it has, or even if it hasn't, click on the link in the show notes to go to the page for this podcast episode. There, leave us all a comment letting us know what you think about copywriting, where you want to go with your career, or any questions you may have. I'll be sure to answer you. Until next week, have fun, write words.